You can't control the world, but you can control how you meet it. Stoic morning routines aren't about comfort. They're about training your mind for clarity, discipline, and resilience. Drawing on lessons from Marcus Aurelius and other Stoic masters, we'll explore 7 habits that transform your mornings into a foundation for strength and wisdom. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Marcus Aurelius wrote these words nearly 2,000 years ago, but they land today with the same weight, perhaps heavier. You wake up each morning assuming the day is yours. You plan, you delay, you waste minutes as though your supply is infinite. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Nothing guarantees you will see another sunrise. That's not pessimism. It's mathematics. For someone, somewhere, today will be their last day. They just don't know it yet, and neither do you. If that makes you uneasy, good. The Stoics would say that unease is your mind rejecting the reality it doesn't want to face. But that reality is exactly what gives life urgency and weight. You think you have time. You think you can put off the hard work, the difficult conversation, the uncomfortable growth until you feel ready. You think you can wait for the right moment. The truth? The right moment is already here, or it's gone forever. Every single morning is not just another box on the calendar. It's a one-time event, a limited edition, a day that cannot be reclaimed. And yet, most people treat it like a disposable item. They hit snooze. They start with the noise of the world before they've even heard their own thoughts. They surrender their most valuable hour to distraction and then wonder why their days feel out of control. You may believe you're in charge of your life, but if you start your day reacting instead of leading, you're not steering the wheel. You're just being carried by the current. The Stoics understood this. They woke with awareness because they knew that every day was both a gift and a test. A gift because it was another chance to live according to virtue. A test because it would ask, will you spend it well, or will you throw it away? I'm speaking directly to you because this isn't a lesson for people in general. It's for the one person watching right now who knows deep down they've been on autopilot. Maybe that's you. Maybe you've felt that creeping dissatisfaction, not because life is cruel, but because you've been living beneath your own potential. This is why the first decision you make in the morning matters. It's the first declaration of who you are, not in theory, but in practice. The Stoics would say, your principles aren't proven in speeches or intentions. They're proven in what you choose to do when the alarm goes off. If you find value here, subscribe. It's a small click for you, but it helps us share more timeless Stoic wisdom with the world. Lessons that are easy to ignore until life forces them upon you. And while you're here, consider this. Which do you think is harder? A. Controlling your thoughts, or B. Controlling your emotions? Leave your answer in the comments. Your choice will reveal more about how you see yourself than you might expect. The paradox of Stoicism is that the more you accept the fragility of life, the more strength you gain to live it fully. Facing that truth doesn't weaken you, it focuses you. But awareness alone isn't enough. You need a framework, a set of habits that align your daily actions with that awareness. And that's where most people fail. They understand the idea. They agree with it. But when the morning comes, they fall back into the same patterns. And yet, there's a principle Marcus Aurelius lived by that most people ignore until it's too late. It's a principle that if you apply it starting tomorrow morning, could redefine not only how your day begins, but how your entire life unfolds. You tell yourself you'll act when you feel ready, that you'll start the project when inspiration strikes. Speak the truth when the mood is right. Take control when the timing feels better. But here's the paradox the Stoics saw clearly. The longer you wait for the right mood, the less control you have over your own life. By letting feelings set the terms, you hand over authority to something unstable, temporary, and often irrational. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You must build up your life action by action, and be content if each one achieves its goal as far as possible, and no one can keep you from this." Notice he didn't say, "when you feel like it," or "when you're motivated." He said action by action, because consistency is the measure of integrity, not emotion. Think about your own mornings. How many times have you skipped the workout, delayed the task, or softened your standards simply because you weren't in the mood? And then, at the end of the day, you feel that quiet dissatisfaction, not because you were incapable, but because you allowed your mood to make the decision for you. In that moment, you weren't the driver. You were the passenger. The Stoics believed freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you feel like. It comes from doing what aligns with reason, no matter how you feel. Discipline isn't a rigid prison. It's a deliberate choice to prioritize what matters over what's convenient. When you commit to principle over preference, you become someone you can trust. And trust in yourself is the foundation of inner stability. Modern life tempts you to seek comfort first. The soft bed, the extra scroll through your phone, the easy excuse that today is too busy or not the right time. Each small surrender feels harmless, but over weeks and years, it shapes your character. You either become someone whose actions match their values or someone who explains why they don't. Discipline is built in quiet, unremarkable moments. The early alarm you honor, the focused hour of work you complete before distractions creep in, the decision to follow through when no one else will notice. It's the private victories that strengthen your identity far more than the public ones. And here's the difficult truth. No one else can give you discipline. They can inspire you, challenge you, even push you for a moment. But sustained discipline comes from deciding again and again that your values are non-negotiable, that you will act on them regardless of your emotional weather. When you understand this, the question isn't, "Do I feel like it?" The question becomes, "Does this action honor who I intend to be?" And if the answer is yes, you do it, tired, unmotivated, or uninspired, because that's what shapes the person you're becoming. If you know someone who needs this message, share this video with them. You might change their day, or even their life. The Stoics didn't stop at discipline over mood. They paired it with another habit that gave them remarkable clarity and peace: the ability to sort, in every situation, what was truly under their control and what was not. Epictetus built his entire philosophy on this distinction, and his insight is as disruptive today as it was 2,000 years ago. You can lose an entire day, even an entire life, by trying to control the wrong things. Most people believe they have more influence than they actually do, and far less over the one thing that matters most: themselves. This is the paradox. The more you attempt to bend the world to your will, the more it resists. The more you focus inward, the more the world's chaos loses its grip on you. Epictetus opened his Enchiridion with a truth so plain it's almost insulting. Some things are up to us, and some are not. Simple, yes. Easy to live by. Number. The intellectual pain here is that you already know this, yet you act daily as if it isn't true. You argue with the traffic, resent the weather, dwell on another person's opinion, replay old conversations, hoping the outcome will magically change. This is time and energy invested in a market that will never pay you back. If you observe your own frustration honestly, you'll see it's almost always tied to trying to control the uncontrollable. You cannot dictate the economy, the headlines, or the way strangers behave. But you can control your words, your choices, your preparation, and your attitude toward what happens. That is the zone where Stoic power lives, not in manipulating external events, but in mastering your internal response. When you waste your focus on what you can't change, you give away the only leverage you have. That's why the Stoics treated this principle like armor. It shields you from pointless battles and frees you to win the ones that actually matter. And this is not passivity, it's strategy. Accepting reality doesn't mean liking it. It means you see it clearly enough to respond effectively. Think of it like a skilled sailor. They don't curse the wind for changing. They adjust their sails. The sea and the wind are outside their control, but steering the ship is not. Your life is no different. Your circumstances will shift without your permission. You can waste energy fighting that fact, or you can work with it, using what's in front of you to move toward where you want to be. Marcus Aurelius advised himself to receive without pride, let go without attachment. This is a mental habit, taking what comes with a steady mind, releasing what goes without resentment. When you practice this, you don't just reduce stress. You increase your capacity to act wisely because you're no longer tangled in futile resistance. Ask yourself, how much of your mental bandwidth this week went to things you could not alter? How many opportunities for progress were delayed because your attention was hijacked by something outside your reach? Every hour spent there is an hour stolen from what you can influence. Your discipline, your learning, your contribution to the people and work that matter most. If this lesson resonates with you, like this video and subscribe for more timeless Stoic wisdom. Every principle we share is one more tool you can use to reclaim your focus and build a life led by reason, not reaction. In the next part, we'll look at a practice Marcus Aurelius considered essential, a way of starting each day that not only sharpened his mind, but anchored his entire sense of purpose, even when surrounded by distraction and chaos. This is how you win the first hour, and with it, the rest of your day. The first hour of your day is not just a beginning, it's a verdict. By the time that hour passes, you've already decided whether the day will be led by discipline or surrendered to distraction. Most people give it away without even noticing. The alarm goes off, and instead of rising, they negotiate with themselves for just 5 more minutes. That negotiation is the first defeat, and it sets the tone for all the rest. Seneca warned that while we are postponing, life speeds by. Those first 60 minutes are where the postponement habit takes root. If you fill them with hesitation, reactive scrolling, or mental wandering, you've trained yourself to follow impulses rather than intention. It's not about being perfect. It's about choosing your direction before the world chooses it for you. Think about the mornings you've started strong. You rose when you said you would. You moved your body. You set clear priorities. The rest of the day often felt different, calmer, sharper, more deliberate. That's not an accident. Momentum compounds, and the first hour is the seed. The Stoics understood this deeply, which is why Marcus Aurelius began his meditations with reminders to prepare his mind for what the day would bring. He didn't wait for motivation. He created it by ritual. Your first hour is your most honest hour. It reveals what you truly value, not what you say you value. If you spend it in silence, reflection, and purposeful action, you've demonstrated mastery over yourself. If you spend it reacting, you've surrendered control before the real challenges have even arrived. Epictetus put it simply: first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. The practical application is straightforward but not easy. Before bed, decide how you will use your first hour. Remove the decision-making from the morning. When you wake, act without debate. Read something that strengthens your mind. Write down the 3 most important tasks, or train your body. Whatever the action, let it be something that shapes you into who you want to become. If you ignore this, the cost is not just a slow morning. It's a slow erosion of your agency. The hours slip into days, the days into years, and the gap between the life you want and the life you have widens until it feels permanent. If you keep delaying, opportunities won't just pass by. They will never return. This isn't about winning the morning for the sake of efficiency alone. It's about training your mind to begin each day as the Stoics began theirs, with clarity, intention, and readiness for whatever comes. That is how you create a life that is not just lived, but directed. In the next part, we'll explore a mindset that transforms how you face challenges, not by avoiding them, but by turning them into fuel for growth. It's a perspective that allowed Stoic thinkers to remain steady, even when the ground beneath them was shifting. Amor fati, love your fate, is perhaps the most misunderstood Stoic idea. Many take it to mean passive acceptance, as if loving your fate is simply resigning yourself to whatever happens. In truth, it is far more active and demanding. It requires you to see every event, even the painful ones, not just as something to be endured, but as something to be embraced as essential to your growth. The Stoics did not teach that life would hand you only what you prefer. They taught that what life does hand you can become the very material for your excellence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." This is amor fati in action. It is the discipline of transforming obstacles into fuel. When you face a setback at work, a broken relationship, or an unexpected loss, the default reaction is resistance or complaint. But the Stoic response is different. You look at the event and say, "This too belongs to me, and I will use it." It is not about enjoying suffering. It is about refusing to let suffering be wasted. In daily life, this principle is tested constantly. You may plan your day carefully, only to have it interrupted by demands you did not foresee. You may work toward a goal, only to find the path blocked by circumstances outside your control. Amor fati asks that you meet each of these moments not with frustration, but with the mindset that this is exactly the path you were meant to walk. That shift in perspective changes your posture toward life. Instead of bracing against it, you move with it. The real challenge is not in applying amor fati when things go well, but in holding to it when the weight is heavy. It is easy to accept what pleases you. The test comes when fate delivers the opposite. This is where the Stoic discipline is sharpened. Epictetus reminded his students that we are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them. If you see events as enemies, they will always diminish you. If you see them as teachers, they will always shape you. To live this way requires trust. Trust that the unfolding of life, even in its difficulty, contains the raw material you need to grow. It also requires humility, because you are not the architect of the entire design. Your role is to work with the material in front of you as skillfully as possible. Just as a sculptor does not choose every piece of marble, but still shapes it into something worthy, you do not choose every circumstance, but can still shape your life with intention. Amor fati is not a shield from hardship. It is the art of turning hardship into alignment with your highest self. It is saying yes to reality, not because you are powerless, but because you are powerful enough to use whatever happens. The question is, will you? In just one sentence, share the Stoic principle you live by. This video has walked you through 4 Stoic disciplines that can fundamentally shift the way you begin and live your day. Discipline over mood, controlling the controllable, winning the first hour, and embracing amor fati, loving your fate. The core takeaway is simple yet transformative. Your life's quality depends less on what happens to you and more on how you respond to it. By mastering your inner state and aligning your actions with reason, you place yourself beyond the reach of chaos. At its heart, Stoicism teaches that power lies in the mind's ability to choose its stance toward events. The practical application is straightforward, but not easy. In the first moments of your day, take ownership of your mind before the world tries to claim it. Begin with a deliberate routine, set your intentions, and meet the day's surprises with acceptance, not resistance. Each obstacle becomes an opportunity to demonstrate virtue, whether patience, courage, or wisdom. This isn't abstract philosophy. It's a habit you can start tomorrow morning, and over time, it will become your natural posture toward life. The Stoics would say that fortune cannot take from you what you have already placed within your own control. This means your peace, your discipline, and your moral purpose are safe if you guard them. The question worth pondering is not, will life challenge me? But when life does, will I meet it as a victim or as a craftsman shaping the raw material into something worthy? Which of these Stoic habits do you think will have the greatest impact if you start applying it tomorrow? Subscribe to discover timeless Stoic principles each week and learn how to apply them in real life.